Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Aries energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because it's not a personal reading. I don't know anything about your life, and people have free will. Some people harness high vibe Aries energy, some people harness a more worldly focused Aries energy, some people harness a shadowy Aries energy, and you could know an Aries sun sign and you find out you're the one harnessing high vibe Aries energy, because we all tap into Aries energy. It's just, how do we harness it? What are we motivated and inspired by? High vibe is being bold and brave enough to do love, to treat other people the way we like to be treated, to face our fears and our insecurities, to grow and mature ourselves to our full potential. Some people don't want to do that. They're still caught up in the world, or they think that if they have a certain status or image or money or power, that'll make them happy. Some people don't want to do love. You can get hurt doing love. And some people have made the free will choice, I don't want to do it. I would rather live more from my ego nature. I would rather be defensive. I'd rather want to just indulge myself in relationships, or I want to try to control people I'm in a relationship with. So, listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story. Listen to your intuition about other people in your life. The overarching reason for the reading is dark thoughts. We either overcome our fears and our insecurities and our self-limiting beliefs to free ourselves. That's what high vibe energy is about. Why do I have these fears and insecurities about being more authentically myself, or working through my fears and insecurities that stop me from being more independent and looking at life as an adventure to be lived? We've all went through experiences where things didn't work out the way we wanted, and then sometimes we get in our ego and our fear and our defensiveness, and it's the very thing that blocks us from living the life we want to live, but we're afraid to listen to our intuition anymore because we listened to our intuition in the past and it didn't work out. But we were meant to learn lessons from that life experience. Oh, that person, in ourself too. How was I immature? How was I being, acting in ways that weren't conducive to a healthy relationship or life? And how I kind of sabotaged myself. And then who did I hang out with and be friends with and get in relationships with that maybe have their own fears, insecurities, self-limiting beliefs? And because of that, we weren't being more independent or having learned to love ourselves. And high vibe people do the work within themselves to free themselves from those things. I'm kind of looking at the joyous fun as like an Eight of Wands energy of Sagittarius, being inspired, and maybe like high vibe Scorpio, wanting to be in deep, meaningful relationships, being willing to work through those issues that we have, the things that manipulate us, our shadow nature, seeing through the illusion of other people in our life who maybe don't have our best interests at heart, to wrap our brain around this game of life. We meet different people in life because we're meant to learn lessons from those people. Oh, if I meet someone who's defensive, I maybe shouldn't go out with someone who's defensive because I have more hope and faith and belief in love than they do. We're on different pages. If I meet someone who has a lot of fears and insecurities, and those aren't things that manipulate me, I maybe shouldn't get in a relationship with them because I'm more motivated and inspired to have hope and faith and belief in love, and they're not. Were we willing to learn the lesson? And quit getting in relationships with people who have certain traits and characteristics that manipulate them, that don't manipulate us. And that could have been the lesson we were supposed to learn from those life experiences. But because we maybe had our own fears and insecurities, hadn't learned to love and believe in ourselves, hadn't learned some lessons in life, yeah, we did get in some shadowy life situations. Are we willing to do the work, take that Aries-inspired action to kind of put life in perspective, learn the lesson we were meant to learn so that we can move beyond it? So let's go see what's going on in Aries energy. We have the milestone, fear, letting go, and the reason is because of victim mentality. So the victim mentality is like a Five of Pentacles card, which is Taurus energy, which can have to do with our philosophy of life. You know, we all grow up in the world. Taurus energy is earth sign energy. We all kind of get indoctrinated into the world, kind of how we view life. You know, that these things of the world that look victorious and successful, that's what we should make our life about. That'll make us happy. Because we can have some fear of letting go of living life from our more worldly nature to detach from it and look at life from a higher perspective. Trust and believe in ourselves. Listen to our intuition. So we can get in, we could have gotten in relationships like this in the past. We all grow up in the world. We all get caught up in the things of the world. We're sure those things that the world tells us that we should invest in will make us happy, and not really to listen to our intuition, and maybe haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves yet. So we can get in those relationships, and we also have been children before where we are in very kind of codependent energy, and we look outside of ourselves for the answer instead of looking inside of ourselves to free ourselves from the things that manipulate us. So we can get in relationships. We all can have some of those fears, those insecurities, those self-limiting beliefs, be in that more codependent energy. And then even when we realize that, oops, I don't think, again, we come in contact with all these different people to help us get clear about our truth. We can get into those situations that by worldly standards with the milestone, they look like we should be happy, but we're not. And then we have fear of getting out of them because by worldly standards, it does look maybe good, or we still haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves, and we stay in situations that we kind of feel left out in the cold in. But because we're afraid of loving and believing in ourselves and feeling more stable and grounded within ourselves and being more independent, because high vibe energy is about being more independent, learning how to fill your own cup emotionally, feeling stable and grounded within yourself, becoming more independent of your more codependent nature and your fears and your insecurities, and kind of knowing your worth and value, that I'm not going to let my fear, my insecurity, my pride, my ego, my more codependent nature run my life anymore. And some people did detach eventually, and some people are thinking of detaching right now from those types of ways of living life and relationships. Some people know that, and they know that other people are letting go. They're moving forward in life, facing their fears, working through their own dark thoughts to be inspired to love and believe in themselves. And some of the people in their life are fearful and afraid because it's like, oh, you're going to go live life differently now. Aren't you going to stay in your victim mentality with me? We were on the same page at one time, but you've changed. You started to believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, believe in more than just making your life about these things of the world that we could indulge in, or way of living life that looks victorious and successful maybe, but it's not really inspired by hope and faith and belief and love. And, we can all see other people moving forward in life more bold and brave and confident. And, we wonder, can I do that? And some people are wondering that right now. The loving people in people's lives are trying to encourage people to love and believe in themselves. That's like high vibe Sagittarius energy, trying to inspire other people. Come with me. Move forward with me. Work through your own fears and insecurities and self-learning beliefs. Redefine how you define yourself. Do you make your life more about your ego and your image or the things that you indulge in to make you happy? What about not making your life, letting those things define your worth and value? What about being free to go live your authentic life? And there's always going to be some people in the world that aren't going to do the inner work it takes to free themselves. And we just need to see the truth of it. And we move forward with the people in our life who are willing to detach from that and move forward with us. Then we have the vast universe in reverse, and the reason it came out is because of the consciousness and lack. A consciousness of lack, which is kind of like victim mentality too. You know, it kind of reminds me of a saying Dr. Phil used to say on his show, I'd rather be sick alone than be sick with someone else, because at least if I'm sick alone, I can do this work within myself and I kind of don't have someone maybe sabotaging me, trying to keep me staying in negative energy or codependent energy or fear, lust, greed, immaturity. And we kind of have to go through this period of maybe feeling left out in the cold because some of the people that we thought were on the same page as us, that wanted to bring a dream into reality. So I'm kind of looking at the vast universe as kind of Aquarius energy of I have a dream, looking at life from a higher perspective. You know, when we realized that a way we were living life, that initially we could have thought, oh my gosh, this is the way to live life. These are the people I want to hang out with. This is the job I want. This is the way I want to live my life. And then we kind of go through that phase of life, and then it's like, wait a minute, there's something missing here. And I could feel like if I keep moving forward, living my life this way, that I'm not going to grow to my full potential. Like I kind of have given up my dreams, that I am settling for this, making my life about these things of the world instead of having hope and faith and belief in my dreams. And life is about making choices. We can do this or we can do that. And we kind of end up realizing that I realized this wasn't my truth and that I could have kept, if I keep staying or living my life the way I live it, it might be more out of fear and insecurity and codependency. And if I want to live my authentic life, I need to let go of thinking that was the dream way of living life. And some of the people that I could have wanted to move forward with to bring a dream into reality, if I see that they're not willing to let go of that old way of viewing life or indulging in certain things, I need to kind of like wish them peace and love and joy and let them go live their life the way they want to live it. But I'm realizing this isn't how I want to keep living my life. And then we do have to go through this period of detaching from certain things, habits, vices, people we used to hang out with, leave certain jobs, leave certain friendships, distance ourselves from certain people. Because we've already realized that it's not our truth and it's kind of wearing away at the foundation of ourself, where we're, again, staying more out of fear and insecurity or pride or ego or indulging our more immature, codependent nature. And that's why some people won't move forward with us in life, because they could have things that they need to detach from also, and people in their life they could be codependent on, even just the world. But what about the world? I want the world to view me a certain way, and I would have to quit making my life more about my ego, and I'd have to quit letting my ego run my life or making my life more about status or image. I want to go live my authentic life, and some people aren't willing to detach from those things because it is still how they define themselves and their worth and their value, and they're not willing to quit making their life about those things, even though it could be wearing away at them, even though they could be sacrificing their dreams. We all have to make choices in life. And some people aren't willing to go through this period of feeling left out in the cold to face their fears of saying, I know this isn't what I thought it would be. And I'm willing to get out of my ego and deal with my fears of moving forward in life differently, to go through that period of feeling left out in the cold, because I can't stay here. But some people will stay there anyway, and we just have to see the truth of it. So the people who aren't inspired to detach from some old ways of being, to go through this period of feeling left out in the cold, to work through their own fears and insecurities about living their more authentic life, doing what really drives and motivates them from love that inspires them to grow to their full potential, having hope and faith and belief in their more hopeful, believing nature, they're going to keep living life the way they've probably been living it. And, you know, we all at different times feel ready to face our fears, to move forward in life differently. So we wish them peace. Apparently, maybe we have different dreams. What drives and motivates us might be different. I might be more motivated and inspired to work through my fears and insecurities, and some other people in my life might not be. I can't make other people be inspired to work through their fears and insecurities. They have to be willing to do that themselves. Some people aren't willing to get out of their more egoic nature or defensive nature. High-five people don't want to be manipulated by their ego and their fear and their codependent nature, or by other people. And we could have been in relationships with people that, because of their fears and insecurities, instead of being truthful and honest and just and fair and loving, they could have done things to try to make us feel left out in the cold, because they were so afraid of us loving and believing in ourselves, because they know they're not willing to move forward with us in that way of viewing life. And so then, you know, shadowy energies where people try to use manipulation and fear and all these things to try to make us stay in those jobs, those friendships, those relationships. And who wants to be in a relationship with someone who is treating you like that? Don't you have hope and faith and belief and love? And that's when we could realize that some people just either operate from their more shadowy nature, which can be, I have fears of loving and believing in myself and in my dreams and in other people, and so I do try to manipulate and control people to get them to do what I want. And some people, like, my dream can't come into reality with you then, because we have different ways of viewing life and what, you know, how we go about things. And I don't want to live my life like that. You might live your life like that. And if that makes you feel safe and secure and stable and grounded within yourself, then live your life like that and find someone else who wants to live their life like that. But I don't want to. So they were willing to give up one dream to go to detach from some people they previously wanted to hold on to work through their own fears and insecurities about why they're tempted to stay in it, even when they know people could be bossy or controlling or manipulative or defensive or more about the world or ego and image or status or indulgence or materialism is more important to them. And that's not what drives and motivates you. So then we have back and forth, the honoring path, and discovery. And the reason those came out, again, is because of the dark thoughts. You know, we all can repeat old patterns of ways of being because we all kind of like to stay in our comfort zone. We'd like the things that we have invested in to work. And we can have this push and pull within us. This person's on a teeter-totter. And this is a masculine figure, which can represent that we're operating more in our egoic nature. We want those things of the world too. We'd all like to reap everything that we want in the world without having to grow up, mature ourselves, face our fears, face our insecurities, like wanting reward without effort. And we'd all like to stay in our comfort zone, to not have to face our fears about learning to do this work within ourselves, to believe in ourselves, believe in our dreams. And we'd all like to not step out of our comfort zone. But when we realize that the only reason I'd maybe keep living my life like that is because of my fear or my insecurity or my codependency, or not believing I can manifest my dreams into reality. It takes time. And a lot of times, it's like it's kind of like progress can be 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And it's kind of like we touch back on some old ways of thinking or believing, and then we take 3 steps forward again, and then we might do 2 steps back, and then we might do 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. It's like slow but steady progress to keep moving forward. The honoring path would be, instead of harnessing a more worldly, kind of shadowy Taurus energy and philosophy of life, it's wanting to harness high vibe Taurus energy of being someone who walks the talk. Because in shadow energy, we can settle for the illusion. By worldly standards, it looks great. It looks like I'm moving forward. It looks like I have what other people have. But I know it's kind of more of an illusion, that I'm living my life and doing certain things more out of fear, insecurity, and codependency. And I'm not living my more authentic life, being inspired, And so they do this work and effort within them. And I kind of look at the discovery card as this, the masculine figures can represent us operating more from our more worldly nature. And so then it's trying to kind of realize maybe and tap into the things that make us not just an animal of the world or like a computer. We were given these unique talent, skills, and our imaginative nature, our creative nature, our intuitive nature, our inspired nature. Those were things that were given to us as a gift that are very valuable. This person, it kind of would look like maybe someone panning for gold. Well, again, we could have all been caught up in things of the world thinking those are the things that we were supposed to align with. But then when we align with indulging in those things, we kind of realize those things are just things. And, it's being free to live our authentic life and not being manipulated by our more worldly, immature nature and ego. And it's tapping into that life-giving energy that inspires us to want to grow to our full potential. And then we look at appreciating what we bring to the table, that yes, I have emotions. Yes, I have a passionate nature. Yes, I have my mind. I can use all those things in a kind of a more shadowy, manipulative way to get what I want in the world. But that's kind of like being a scammer in the world, right? Like all the people that try to scam people through emails and these scam phone calls, right? Well, is that really anything to be proud of? It's like trying to cheat the system. I want to have what other people might have who are more bold, brave, confident, inspired, and confident in love. But I have fears of being that type of person myself. And high vibe people want to be that type of person. I want to be someone who uses my gifts, my talents, my emotions, my creativity, my imagination for good. You know, high vibe energy is believing there's a higher truth and justice in the world, that I want to be proud of myself, to know that I lived my life in a way where I didn't grow to my full potential, where I used my gifts, my emotions, my sexuality, my mind, my creativity, my imagination to try to manipulate people in the world to get what I want, instead of harnessing high vibe Aries, high vibe Taurus, acting with character and integrity. I treat other people the way I like to be treated. I treat people in a just and fair and loving manner. I try to inspire other people so that the whole world and people in my life are moving forward in that type of energy. That's how we as human beings evolve to become better versions of ourselves. But we can choose not to do that, and we can, use all of our gifts, talents, skills, and interests to get what we want. Because isn't that the most important thing? That's shadowy Aries energy. Isn't it really more about me and my wants and my needs and my lust and my greed? And that would be a consciousness of lack, somebody who's not very self-aware. We have our shadow nature. If we learn lessons in life, become enlightened to the truth, we can realize this isn't anything to be proud of to live our life that way. Yeah, we might have all these things in the world. Yeah, we might look like we got it going on in the world. But are we someone who's intimidating and trying to control others to make them not love and believe in themselves so they'll keep moving forward in relationships with us so that we look like we're victorious and successful in the world? Are we offering the people we're in relationships love and encouragement to become all they can be? Are the people in our life doing that? There's given times in our life where we have to stop and wonder, why am I moving forward in life the way I'm moving forward? Did I get myself in some situations that by worldly standards could look like I got it going on in the world? But I could have gotten into those situations and could be moving forward in those situations because something I would have really liked to have been in didn't work out the way I wanted, and maybe I had some healing and growing and maturing to do. Maybe the people I was in relationship with did. We all had lessons to learn. But because that hadn't worked out, I got myself in a relationship, maybe not coming from the best place, but by worldly standards, it looks like I'm on the honoring path. I'm moving forward. Look at my life. Look how great it looks. But is that true? Why am I in it? Why are some of the other people I'm in a relationship, why are they in it? Is it because it works out good for their ego and image and status? Is that why I'm in it? Sometimes we can move forward in life a certain way, and then we might even know some people in our past who detach from things that they needed to detach from. And they actually are doing this work to work through some of their fears or insecurities. That could be you. To move forward in life in a more inspired way. And some of the people in our life could be watching us do that, just like we could be watching other people. And then it can make other people question, well, how am I living my life? When I had things that didn't work out the way I wanted, did I act again, maybe out of fear and insecurity and codependency or pride or ego or indulgence than truth and love? High vibe people are moving forward. They're doing this work within themselves. There's people they'd like to have come with them, between family members, adult children, people at work, friends, romantic interests. They'd like them to move forward with them in this way. There's some people in life wondering, is anybody ever going to get out of these kind of more mismatched relationships that is on the same page as me? And some of us who could be kind of going back and forth about wondering if someone, people that we already know or people from our past, are they going to move forward with me in this way? You know, there's other people in the world that we haven't even met yet that are wondering if people like us and other people are going to quit looking to the past and start looking to the future with the new discoveries. That, you know, at what point in time are we going to face our fears of completely letting some people go who aren't currently, the masculine energies can represent people taking action in the world, in our life. If there's people in our world that aren't taking this action with us in our life, at what time are we going to quit going back and forth to be willing to maybe go on this new adventure and face our fears about stepping out of our comfort zone to get to know new people? And it's to see if people aren't putting in work and effort to work with us in our present life, or, you know, I think high vibe people would have taken action to communicate with other people in their life. If, hey, I view you as someone I think I would like to get to know better, or if I owe you an apology, because they're not operating from pride and ego anymore. They got out of their pride and ego. Some of the people they could have communicated with are like, what? I've been moving forward in this way of life. And then they might have fears. You know, everybody that we communicate with is either moving forward in a more hopeful, believing, loving, intuitive nature aligned with their truth, or when they got into something, they were still kind of in lack mentality just because something else hadn't worked out the way they wanted. And they could have gotten in situations more out of fear, insecurity, pride, and ego. Well, high vibe people communicate their truth to people, not operating from ego, but they're also not going to be chasing after people. I take action to speak the truth, maybe to reveal the truth of the lessons I've learned in life and how I want to move forward in life. Do you want to come with or don't you? And some of those people aren't going to. You know, with this card kind of reminding me of the Eight of Wands and the taking action. In order to move forward in life differently, like to let go of one way of living life or one dream, you would have to communicate with probably some people in your life, even if it's just your friends and family members. Hey, I'm going to go live my life differently, you know? Something inspired me to work through some of my fears and insecurities. That could be other people that I watched in life, people who could have reached out to me, or just books and movies and music. And some people don't want to do that because they're just not there yet, and they may never be there yet. And we can only work with the people who are willing to take action in with us to move forward with us. So if they're not, we have to see the truth that either they've moved on in, you know, anybody that we meet is there in their own great friendships or relationships, and they're moving forward in that way. You know, it's either they're moving forward in that way, or they're moving forward in a more shadowy way, And we don't let either one of those options of what people could be living their life like keep us stuck. It's like, I'm going to keep being inspired to maintain balance within myself, to keep taking action in truth and love and hope and faith and belief. I am not going to be chasing after people. If I've already spoken my truth, the ball's in their court. And if they're not, I keep doing this work within myself to maintain balance within myself, to keep investing in people in my world who are working together with me in a just and fair and loving way, enjoying my life. And I assume God's got a plan for my life. And if I keep investing my time, energy, and effort only into the people in my world, a more involved relationship. We can know lots of people that we socialize and visit with that we know we're not really on the same page with, but we've all been there, and there's other people that visit and socialize with us that we're not on the same page with. And we know we're not going to be in a more deep, meaningful relationship with those people, but we can know lots of people in the world that we associate with and talk with, but am I going to get in a relationship with you or date you? No. I'm still looking for the people who might be on the same page as me, and the people in my life who are on the same page as me are the people I'm going to move forward with. There might be some people just like you in your life in regards to some other people, and other people in regards to you. There could be people that could be tempted in their shadow nature to get in a relationship with you, just like you could be tempted in your shadow nature to involve yourself with some people. But we don't want people getting in a relationship with us in their shadow nature of lust or greed or pride or ego. It's like, no. You stay where you're at. If I communicated my truth and you're not free or available or on the same page, I'm not going to keep trying to convince you should be in a relationship with me or chase you, because I might get your shadow nature. And I don't want you in shadowy energy. If you're in and I didn't realize you were dating someone, perfect. Oh, sorry, didn't know. Yep. You keep going with what you're in. I don't want you to come get in a relationship with me out of lust or greed or pride or ego. You keep going. And then I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to work through my own issues that could make me maybe take action for more shadowy reasons. But when we take actions, it's kind of like, you're either in high vibe energy, walking the talk, high vibe Aries, high vibe Taurus energy within yourself, or you have some lessons to learn in life. And some people, even though they could want to be in relationships with certain people, if they know that those people have these fears, these insecurities, this more worldly view of life, don't have hope and faith and belief and love, make their life more about being indulged, maybe wanting people to indulge them in their fear and their insecurity. That's not my dream life. So I'm going to face my own fears about continuing to move forward in my life. Because if I take action more out of shadowy energy, it means I still have lessons to learn, and I don't want to learn those hard lessons. So I'm going to keep being inspired to move forward. And I'm going to take action and communicate with people in my life who I think are on the same page as me. And I'm going to maintain balance about the people in my life who I think aren't on the same page as me, even though I might be tempted to want to take action towards them. I don't want to repeat an old pattern. So what's coming up for people who harness high vibe Aries energy that they might not see coming up? Okay. We have this card not showing itself, and it has to do with the Page of Pentacles. Just like some people in relationship to us and us in relationship to other people, You know, we could all have moved on in life differently, and we're kind of going to the next phase of life that we know some other people aren't willing to go to. Shadowy energy can be where people want to repeat an old pattern because the truth sets us free to live life differently. And we could know some people who don't want to see the truth or deal with the truth. It could be their own fears, it could be their own insecurities, it could be lack of looking at life from a higher perspective and putting things in perspective. They could be people who get caught up in either the world or just not loving and believing in themselves. And we can't make people do that if we've already been in friendships and relationships with them. We probably already did do all this work to try to get them to have some hope and faith and belief, but they have to do that work within themselves they have to take action in their own life and be inspired to even want to look at the things they keep hidden in the dark. And some people don't. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see the truth. Maybe I am bossy, controlling, fearful, insecure, materialistic, and I don't want to acknowledge the truth of any of it to myself. I want to keep moving forward in denial of the truth. So, in relationship to different people are moving forward in life because they did come into some truth or understanding or healing or growing or maturing or something. In high vibe, when someone's holding the one pentacle, it's like they saw the truth of something. And it's hard to unsee the truth, though we can be tempted just because of our fear of moving forward into unknown territory. But we keep taking slow, steady steps forward every day, having hope and faith and belief in our dreams, willing to be a student of life. I already know that didn't work for me. So I have no choice but to move forward. I offer people who I think are on the same page as me. I take action to communicate with them the lessons that I've learned. If they're motivated and inspired to move forward with me in that way, they will. If they're not, they're not. And I'm going to keep looking to the future and investing in the people in my life and the people that I meet who I think maybe are on the same page as me. Why? What you don't see coming is that over time, you will be able to detach from aligning with this energy in a more worldly, shadowy way, which then could have kept you tempted to be in relationship with certain people in your life that harness that energy to their own degree in a worldly, shadowy energy. And now you're harnessing it in a high vibe way, and that's what some people don't know about you. And there could be some people that are going to want to invest in you. Could be people from your past, people you don't know. But some people are still operating from their more egoic, worldly view of life. Want to be the next person to indulge in a relationship with you. It'd be good for their ego or their image or their status. You're this shiny object, or you're this loving, nurturing person. They want to be in a relationship with a loving, nurturing person, but they aren't really on the same page as you. And some of those people, the page can be just like this general acquaintance level with people. You're never going to invest more in them. Because I'm going that way, and I've already learned lessons from people like you, so you're someone that I know, but not someone I'm going to invest in. And those people weren't seeing that you're not harnessing. They could think that you reject harnessing this energy in a high vibe way, but you actually harness it in a high vibe way. Oh, the Five of Pentacles, which is like the victim mentality and the consciousness of lack. You know, there's going to be other people that, hey, look at this person. Look at this person moving on. I want to go get in a relationship with them. You view life like I do, right? You feel left out in the cold. You want to be in a relationship? I'll indulge in a relationship with you. Are you in your pride and your ego? You know? And you're like, no. You know? I've worked through those issues. I don't want to be in a relationship just to be in a relationship. I don't want to invest in people just to indulge my more immature nature. I've detached from my more worldly Taurus energy. And apparently what you didn't realize about me is I harness high vibe Taurus energy, which means I let go of my more worldly view of life. And I've seen the truth that those things don't make me happy. And I'm going on this adventure motivated and inspired by love. And if you have a more worldly view of life, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. If you've detached from your more worldly view of life and you're ready to go on this adventure with me, then we could. And, you know, that is life. As you move forward, the fact that you've detached, and there could be other people that would like to be in a relationship with you, but they don't want to be in a relationship with you if they think you're still going back and forth about someone from your past. I want that to be completely detached from. And so then they're kind of working through their own fears. Have you really detached or not? And if they listen to their intuition, and if they were to reach out to get to know you, to find out what the truth is about what drives and motivates you, the lessons that you've learned, then if those people do that, those will be people that will see that you're not feeling left out in the cold from some of these people because you know how they live their life isn't how you want to live your life, and that you want to go on this new adventure. And then those people will be the people who invest in you, and you in turn are looking for people like that. Now, the shadowy people in your life, they're probably going to keep moving forward the way they've been moving forward. Living more from their mind and their heart. Getting in relationships more out of fear, insecurity, codependency, ego. Wanting to look like they're moving forward. They've healed. They've moved on. Look how victorious and successful they are. You know, they've changed, healed, and matured, but they haven't. And you probably know that. And you know that they probably create this illusion about who they are in the world, but they're not who they say they are. And eventually the people they get in a relationship with, if those people have hope and faith and belief and love as time goes by in the relationship, they will also maybe start to see that if I keep moving forward with this person, I'm going to be in a relationship with someone who has a lot of fears and insecurities, or is more about indulgence or materialism, and my dream isn't going to come into reality with them. And some of those people are going to move on from them again. You know, and then some of these people that are in shadowy energy, they don't want to deal with the truth. Not everybody, it can be hard for them to find someone to stay in a relationship with them if they're not being authentic. Some people like to play the victim, poor, pitiful me, and try to find people, you know, they try to present themselves as being this leader in the world, like they're this gem that someone else neglected. But really, it's because they're unwilling to work through some of their own issues to be more creative and inspired and hopeful and believing in a relationship. And they're just hoping to find someone else who doesn't have hope and faith and belief in love, who will stay in a relationship with them. And if they find someone who's on the same page as them, well, then that's a just and fair relationship. But that person might only be in the relationship with them for the status or the ego or the image, or because of fear or insecurity or not wanting to grow and mature. But that would be a just and fair relationship. They're on the same page. And if that eventually over time makes them realize that, why am I living my life like this? Well, great. God's trying to inspire everybody to see the truth. And if some of these more worldly, shadowy people have loving people and love didn't work, well, guess what? They're maybe going to get in a relationship with someone like themselves to make them maybe see the truth about themselves. Or maybe in shadowy Aries energy could be bossy and controlling of them. And they could think, you know, they obviously haven't learned to stand up for themselves. And so they're kind of letting their shadow nature boss and control them. And there's people who would love to come in their life and play that role in their life. Oh, you don't align with your loving, intuitive nature? You push those people away? Perfect. I'm just your type of person. I will be bossy and controlling of you. You don't really love and believe in yourself. You're more about ego and image. Look, I have these shiny things of the world. And they could go down a very dark path, you know, because even like if our vice were drugs and alcohol, some people's vice is money and materialism or status or image. That is what they think will make them feel better. And that can become like an addiction too. And enough is never enough. Having someone indulge me is never enough. Being bossy and controlling of someone is never enough. I need to be more bossy and controlling of people. You know, and sometimes people got to hit some rock bottoms, and you might see some people hit some rock bottoms over time, where by worldly standards it might look great. But if people are staying in relationships more out of fear and insecurity and pride and ego, and they're in relationships with other people who know that they don't love and believe in themselves, or they can manipulate them in their pride or their ego or their lust or their greed, yeah, they might end up feeling very like it's an addiction. And that can be hard to get out of, right? So what's coming up for the more worldly, shadowy people that they don't see coming? The Death card, the King of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, because of the Aries Emperor energy. Well, for one thing, for some people who are currently being, I don't know, want people to indulge them in poor behavior in some way, there could be some loving people in their life that aren't going to indulge them anymore. And if they're being bossy or controlling, or because they have money or status or image or attractive or social clout or whatever, and people wanted a relationship to work out, there's some people in their life right now, just like some people in the past, are going to have people not willing to stay in a relationship with them. Because they're not willing to give up their dreams of love. Yes, I could move forward in a relationship with you. Yes, I could marry you. I could stay at this job. But it's an emotionally shallow, superficial relationship because you're not invested in love. And some people aren't willing to give up their dreams for people like that, just because of the status or the image or the money or the fear. And they are going to do this work within themselves to get free of it and not move forward with those people and detach from those people and see the truth. Life is meant to be enjoyed. If I'm in relationships with people who are kind of creating a little hell on earth, I think because we live in a world of duality, that means high vibe energy like God and loving people are creating a little heaven on earth. Are we going to keep staying in a little hell, or go invest in people who inspire us to love and believe in ourselves to become all we can be because they're motivated and inspired by that? And they in turn encourage us to love and believe in ourselves. Or are we going to stay with the people who want us to put an end to growing and maturing ourselves and stay in a relationship with someone who's trying to boss and control us, just like we could put an end to our more loving nature and align with our more bossy, controlling, worldly, egoic nature and let our worldly, egoic, immature nature run our life. So some people are shocked that people are emotionally detaching. That people are healing and growing and maturing themselves and making good decisions in their life out of love for themselves. And then they're going to detach from them and they're going to go invest in other people who they think are also harnessing high vibe Scorpio, high vibe Capricorn, high vibe Cancer, high vibe Aries. You know, other people who've grown and matured and healed themselves, who make decisions that are best for everyone involved, not just about themselves, and wanting everything to be more about them. Shadowy Aries can be about the self and our more selfish, immature nature, indulgent nature, materialistic nature, not wanting to do love. And they're surprised that some people aren't willing to give up their dreams to stay in a relationship with them, because they could look like, you know, they have a lot of these things of the world that we want. And some people are like, it's not enough because of who you are emotionally. And I don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. And I'm going to go invest in the loving people in the world. And they did not see that coming. So now that the shadowy people see that people no longer view them as someone they want to have a dream come into reality with, because those people have done this work within themselves to love and believe in themselves and work through their own fears and insecurities, are moving on. Now the shadowy people, odds are, I mean, they have the free will choice to do this work within themselves. But odds are, the best, like Dr. Phil also says, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. Should I act with character and integrity? Should I put in work and effort to deal with my pride and my ego and my lack mentality and kind of thinking it should be more about me? Poor, poor, pitiful me. Nobody pays me enough attention. Or something, or I don't have enough money and status and image. You know, odds are they'll go look for someone else who feels left out in the cold to try to get in a relationship with. And some of the people they did try to go get in a relationship with don't want to be in a relationship with them either. It's hard to find someone who might be willing to indulge them and kind of just be on the same page as them. And if they do get someone to stay in a relationship with them, it might be someone who definitely wants the status and the image and the power. Those are the things they're aligned with. And then they could get in a relationship with someone who is kind of intimidating and controlling and acts like a private detective in a relationship with them, because you're not going anywhere. I want these things that you have. This is good for my ego and image and status. We're going to stay in this relationship. And I'm going to do these things to wear down your self-esteem even more. Play on your lust or your greed or your pride or your ego or your fears or insecurities. That you got to stay in this relationship with me because we look like we have it all. And then they're in a little bit of hell. Now they are reaping what they sowed. And it's for them to decide, is this really how you're going to live your life? Really? This might have everything you thought you wanted that would make you happy. You didn't have to do love. You didn't have to grow and mature yourself. But you're in relationships with other people who don't want to grow and mature themselves, who are maybe prideful and egotistical and materialistic and have a lack mentality and are bossy and controlling and all about themselves. Really? And they might find themselves in an emotionally dead relationship or marriage because they're more about themselves and their ego and their image and their indulgence. And so long as it looks good by worldly standards, like they've moved on, they're moving forward victoriously, they don't have to change, they don't have to step out of their comfort zone, they'll live their life like that. And everybody's got free will of how to live their life. And some people said, I'm not living my life like that. I'm not going to live in an emotionally shallow, superficial life. I'm not going to live my life in fear and insecurity. I'm going to face my fears to be a student of life. And I'm going to go on an adventure to grow myself to my full potential. Taking action inspired to face my fears. To not let my fears and insecurities keep me trapped, repeating an old pattern over and over and over again. So high vibe people are going to move forward and have new beginnings, go to like the next level of life, learn more lessons, and the other people could end up trying to manipulate and control people. And if they try to manipulate and control loving, intuitive people, those people are going to leave. If they get in a relationship with someone like themselves, well, they might look like they got everything they wanted. It just won't be a relationship with emotionally mature, stable, grounded, loving people. It'll be being in a relationship with someone like themselves, which is just and fair. So there you go, Aries energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.